What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Check for this play Sonic the Hedgehog 4, Episode 1, Part 4. We are here in Robotnik's secret base, the Mad Gear Zone, which takes a lot of its style from the Metropolis Zone in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. You'll see a lot of enemies that come from there as well. Bubbles we've already seen before, so there's nothing new there. A few gimmicks in this level are these conveyor belts, which we saw in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which debuted there, as a matter of fact. These steam pipes, which there was a variation of those in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Slicers and crab meats. The slicers debuted in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in the Metropolis Zone, and the crab meats debuted in the, well, that version of the crab meat debuted in the Metropolis Zone as well, but the crab meat itself debuted in Green Hill Zone. So, there will also be some starfishes. You saw one of their missiles right there that debuted as well in Sonic the Hedgehog Metropolis Zone as well. While the color and everything doesn't quite match Metropolis Zone was more brown, and the background was, pretty much everything was brown, except green and a few other colors. You can see one of the starfish there. They've had a graphical upgrade, as well as everything else in this game, all the other badniks in this game. But this is by far the most hardest zone in the entire game, as most of Robotnik's levels typically are in the Sonic series. They will get harder as you go along. There's no really big puzzles like we saw in Labyrinth Zone. Oh, be very careful. You can stay there and you can move around, but you can also be very easily get crushed while going through there. Even while in Supersonic, you will get crushed. So even if you do have Supersonic available, there's nothing that will help you out. There we go. Using the spin dash does help you get off a quick burst of speed, but in the long run, it will not help you out. So you don't want to have to rely on it in the long run. That's when you want to start jumping. Oh crap! Oh, okay. Well, I guess I should have timed that one a little bit better. But the starfish, fix my microphone. That starfish was right there, and I was a little bit worried of what that he was going to hit me. And because I had 100 rings, I didn't want to lose them. But I guess in the long run, it didn't really matter either way. But you can see the starfish; they will only go. Okay, so I'll have to run into it and jump, and then just use the homing attack. Again, that's another area where the homing attack will help you out. It's not mandatory to use it in that section, in that type of section, but it definitely does help you out. Alright, so for here, you want to be careful because there are some spikes that will get you. They won't kill you. If you get caught in between them, they will just hurt you and take away your rings. So if you happen to not have all 7 of the Chaos Emeralds and you're still going into this zone, you'll definitely want to try to keep your rings. So if you notice, the bubbles spikes were about halfway out. That is, you can still take damage from it. I wasn't sure if you could. And I mentioned the first time we saw bubbles, I believe it was Lost Labyrinth Zone, that you wouldn't take damage from those, but you can. Okay, so this is pretty much the only puzzle-esque area here. All you have to do is just time it so that you jump, so that you don't get caught in between or on those pistons. As long as you don't get caught underneath the pistons, which is pretty easy to do, all you have to do is just use the time it so that you use the homing attack. Do not use the spin dash or jump. If you do either of those things, you will take damage. Something that I forgot to mention: the enemies in Lost Labyrinth Zone was Jaws, as well as the other Orbonauts. The one fish robot we saw was Jaws. So I kind of dropped the ball on that one, but anyway, so. As you go along here, you'll just see more and more gimmicks and things that throw back to the Metropolis Zone. These cogs were used in, I believe, they started in Metropolis Zone Act 3, or Act 2. slicers, they've been around. They were in every zone or every act. They were a pain in the butt then, but they seem to be a little bit more of a pain in the butt now. Those bridges with what look like spikes on the bottom of them, even though they're not, those also debuted in the second act as well, except they were brown instead of green. The gimmick for this area, as well as the cogs, are these big cogs that you have to run, and to activate, they will either allow you to move along in whichever direction you need to, or they will allow you, or they will help open doors, or a set of doors, or a set of bridges that we will see later on. You can see the red platforms will drop out from underneath you, so you want to be careful while dealing with those. Those what look like triangle wedge springs on the walls also debuted, also made their start in Metropolis Zone 2 as well. So here, you cannot use the spin dash while you're on this. All you have to do is just start running, and that's about the best thing you can do. You can miss all of these slicers if you do some. If all you have to do is run. So here is that section that I was talking about where it would open doors for you. Okay, I guess this is a different section. I didn't pass by this area when I made my run through the game previously, just to familiarize myself with the game. But I guess maybe I went the wrong way. But I believe there are actually 2 of those sections, so if you don't like that section, well, get used to it. So here, this is the only time where you're going to actually have to run. Well, at least along my route anyway, that's the only section where you're going to have to actually turn to the run to the right. Okay, so you can see some of these bridges are closing. That's another section with doors and the bridges being closed. As I said, I wouldn't abuse Supersonic, even though it would be pretty nice to go through here. But this really isn't that difficult of a level, to be quite honest. It does have its moments, but for the most part, it's definitely a lot easier than Metropolis Zone was. And comparatively to other Robotnik levels, it's actually pretty easy once you just get used to some of the gimmicks and everything. This is that last door opening section, so you can see as soon as you stop running, you want to immediately. I don't think I'm gonna make it, but yeah. Okay, well, don't worry about falling. That's the way you have to get back here, or you can run along that red bridge up there if you can make it. But what you have to do is run it all the way over here, open that door. As soon as Sonic stops running, turn around and use the homing attack, jump up. You can miss that cog altogether, jump up on that red bridge, and then just use the jump dash or homing attack. You can also use a spin dash to get over that gap, but it's kind of a split-second thing, and since I'm using the homing attack while going through here, I don't have to worry. I can just use the homing attack. But if you're going through the game without using the homing attack, you can use this spin dash to be able to go through that section. So here you want to just be careful. You want to watch out for that slicer. I believe that's the only slicer that will actually hit you. You have to run right. You have to run to the left here, and you can miss every other slicer and every other enemy, to be quite honest. Oh, crap. Okay. Well, that sucked, but, it's like I said, it's not too difficult of a level, just you have to get used to the gimmicks and the enemy placements, and past that, it's actually pretty easy. See, I'm getting through here in about 9 minutes, which is actually pretty good, but haven't done the boss fight yet, but it's actually a pretty easy boss compared to some of the boss fights from the Robotnik level. Impending Doom. This is the hardest of the 3 Mad Gear Zone acts. Okay, so you can see we have another wall chasing section, or something that will chase you to try to kill you. If you do get hit by it, it is a instant death, so you do want to be very careful. Obviously, you want to use you can either use the spin dash to get to. Oh crap! I guess that stays shut. You can use the spin dash to help get off a burst of speed in some sections, but while you're going up kind of like an incline, you want to make sure that you only if you're not going at a pretty good clip, you have to... crap. Those types of sections, you have to make sure you use the spin dash, and I'll show off those sections. You can see here for now, once you go through the tubes, you don't have to worry about the wall just yet. The gimmick for this level are these platforms that you have to use the left analog stick to rotate, or the directional buttons, whichever you're using. Again, we have another wall chasing section. You can see more conveyor belts. The higher you go, obviously, the faster you'll go. There's oh crap. Okay. Damn it. Oh well. Might as well get my fate here. There we go. You have to watch out for that kind of stuff. Any switches that may be laying around for you to hit. Again, just stay up as high as you can, and you shouldn't have a problem. You can use that, the ability that if you're on the side of a ledge or a platform, you can use a quick, it's kind of like a jump dash almost, that will propel you forward. You can see up these, I don't know if, I guess I'm supposed to be able to go past those or go faster than them. I'm not 100% sure, to be quite honest. Didn't have this much trouble going through here the first time, though, so I'm going to guess that's what I did. I'm just going a little bit too slow. But that's nice to have that life be there consistently, to make sure that, you know, if you are low on rings or lives, that you will not have to worry about it at all. And you can see climbing up the wall is pretty slow. Through that section, you may have wanted to use the homing attack. You know, it's really, or not homing attack, but the spin dash is really up to you. Doesn't really matter either way. But once you're going at that fast of a pace, oh, okay, well, could use that shield, but oh well. Once you're going at that fast of a pace, you don't have to worry about using the spin dash. But if you jump right up on the, if you appear right next to the wall, then you do have to use the homing attack, or the spin dash. Alright, so here's another life. Just follow these down until you get to about here, and then you can just kind of jump out and miss a lot of stuff, actually. For here, you want to use the spin dash to be able to get past there, or, you know, you can use the homing attack, but I find the spin dash is a little bit faster than the homing attack for sections like that. So, you know, it's really just up to you, whichever you want to use. Through this section, you could probably let the springs do all the work. All right, so you want to be careful, because you can see there's spikes there, and if you notice, you do have a lot of travel even after you flip the platforms back around. All right, so for this section right up here, you got to use the spin dash through those two sections. Then you can use the homing attack to get past a lot of these enemies. Jump dashing on those bubbles will definitely get you through that section a lot faster, which you'll definitely like. But, you know, just anything that will help you get through these sections a lot faster will definitely improve your time while going through here. You do not have enough speed, as I said, to go up those up those inclines. Damn it, again. Maybe just because I'm not jumping. I'll give that a try. Would really like to save all my lives until the final zone, but, you know, oh well, doesn't really matter either way, I guess. That's usually how it happens. I'll stockpile a whole bunch of lives, and then right as I get to the end, I'll end up wasting them all. Damn it, again. Seems like I went a little bit faster through there, but maybe not. Well, let's see what this does for me. Seems like a lot faster, so that's definitely something to look out for while going through here. Some lives if you need them, which of course you do need them. And starting up high usually helps out in situations like this. It'll definitely help you get through these, oh crap, no. Oh, great. come on. Thankfully, it will slow down for you, but only just a little bit. And then once you get past there, you're done. So, not that difficult once you get used to the wall section, but you will lose a few lives here and there. So, we get to go into the boss fight now. I will end the video after doing the boss fight because I want to save the final zone and the credits for their own separate video just to be able to talk about it, because the final boss will give me a little bit of trouble. And there's just a lot to talk about that boss fight and everything, so that's just what I'm going to do. But this is the flying Eggman, and it takes from the Metropolis Zone from Sonic 2, where you had to destroy these little where Robotnik was standing there, or was sitting there with balloons that you had to pop in order to make him move down. Except the balloons didn't hurt you in that game like they seem to do here, and it's stupid just to keep diving at them like I am, but that's about the only way to... unless he backs you into a corner and does that. But what you have to do is just attack the cockpit. Because you have the homing attack, this makes it a lot easier than the Sonic 2 version, but it is still pretty bad, and you still want to try to knock out all of the balloon capsules around there just to be able to give yourself a easier shot. Alternatively, you can just jump. I guess you can wait for the balloons to detonate themselves. I didn't actually think they would. Again, remember, it does take 8 hits, so you want to try to knock out as many hits as you can. There are 2 phases to this boss fight, so just be prepared and be ready for that. The jet on the bottom will cause you to take damage, so this is where the second phase begins. About 4 hits in, I guess. And this will turn into a chase section, where you'll gain a few more rings in case you lost some rings. And so now all we have to do is just chase Robotnik while we are dodging the little miniature capsules. This is another section where it is easier if you go ahead and just use the homing attack, because you can attack him from a good distance away, especially if you get hit by one of his little egg capsules. And there we go. So that's not that difficult of a boss fight as long as you get used to the egg capsules and what they do. But all in all, a pretty good boss fight and a uncharacteristically easy boss fight for a Robotnik zone. Usually, Robotnik's bases have a little bit harder enemy. It isn't quite that easy. You can see gain an extra life, always useful. So, are those maybe continues? Now that I think about it. So this is like a cutscene style thing. You can imagine them talking. And now Robotnik flees into space like he does a lot of the time. And then all we have to do is, and then Sonic will hop on a rocket. This is the only mention of Tails. You can see the symbol on the bottom of the rocket, which means Tails could have worked on it and built a rocket for Sonic. And now you can see a new zone appears. Let's see if it'll say it. Okay, you can now select the EGG station zone or the egg station zone, but I'm going to say that for the next video. So I thank you for watching. The challenge of the video is how many cogs did I jump on throughout the entire Mad Gear zone. I thank you for watching. Until next time.